Greetings and welcome to Tobias Talks About Stuff. I'm Tobias, and today we're going to talk about the very popular VR game, Gun Raiders. Greetings! In this video, we're going to be talking about weapons and the shooting range. But before we do that, we got to get familiar with the two special buttons on our controllers. Last video, we talked about the trigger, the grab, the joystick, and the menu button. This time around, we're going to be talking about the two raised buttons. On the left controller, it's the X and Y buttons. On the right controller, it's the A and B buttons. X and A pretty much do the same thing. Y and B do the same thing. So, what's the reason for the difference? Right-handed versus left-handed. That's pretty much all it is when you're dealing with a weapon, which hand are you holding the weapon in? So, before we jump into the shooting range, one other place I want to take you, I'm going to go back to base here, is loadout. Now, remember, in the first video, I talked about how you can rearrange your weapons wheel any way you like it. So, if you missed that, go check out that video because I'm going to be pulling this up a lot. Okay, now let's head off to the shooting range. So, you just hit the menu button, go over to practice, click on practice, shooting range. Here we go. Okay, here's the shooting range. It's not very big. We have 3 targets. There's an exit down there if you ever want to leave. But here is what's so special about this place. There's the wall of weapons. Okay, each one has a nice little description, what it does. I don't want to say what damage it does because on the targets, that's going to show you, but it's going to give you a good overview of what each weapon does. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the weapons. I'm not going to go into great detail as far as style or specialties, just pretty much their function. So again, the X and Y, A and B. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hit the A button, pulls up the weapon wheel. I'm going to use my pointer to point at it. We're going to start with the rifle. All I do is let go of the A button. Boom, I have the rifle. Now, the rifle, again, that's my number 1 favorite. You might have a different favorite, which is perfectly okay. But the rifle uses magazines that are stored right here. If I hit the A button while holding the rifle, if it was in my other hand, I'd hit the X button. But I'm right-handed, so I hit the A button. It pops it out. Now, replacements are here on my hip. They're right here. Grab one, and if you see, there's kind of a shadow that you can sort of see. All you have to do is pass the magazine through the shadow and it grabs it right out of your hand. You don't need to let go of it. So each of these holds 30 shots. Currently it's on infinity, which means endless firing without stopping. Okay, now 0 means it's empty. So I hit the A button, pops it out, get a new one, put it back in. Now the other mode on this rifle, since a lot of the weapons have 2 different modes, you hit the B button. Now, if you're holding it in your left hand, you would hit the Y button. Hit the B button, and it changes. Do you see that? It went from an infinity symbol to kind of a cut-up bullet. That means, in this case, it's a burst mode. And then, when you're out, you're out. Pop it out, put a new one in, ready to go. Okay, that's the rifle. Let's go with the SMG, since that's my number 2 favorite. Same simple concept. This time around, the magazines hold 50. Okay? So you have 50 shots, non-stop. Pop out that, put it back in. And again, when you pop it out, you'll see the empty space. Just bring it close, and it grabs it right out of your hand. Real fast, real simple. So you just fire, fire, fire. Now, the B button, again, gets you into the other mode, and in this case, it's a laser. You can see with that, and it helps with aiming. The downside is when you're in combat, everybody can see the laser, so they know you're in one of 2 directions, either this into the laser or that into the laser. But if you move, well, they kind of know where you're hiding. But it really helps for accuracy. Okay. Grenade launcher. Okay, I really like this one. Now, again, The magazine is right there, so if I hit the A button, pops it out, I pass it through the shadow. Pop it out, pass it through the shadow. Real simple. Grenade has 6 rounds. Standard grenade, it has kind of an area effect. Now, the thing to watch out for area effects is if you get caught up in the area, it's going to hurt you or kill you. Now, the really interesting thing about this game is it won't hurt your teammates. So if you're in a game with designated teammates, your weapons, including the gas, which I'll show you in a moment, won't hurt your teammates, but it will hurt you. So be very careful. So kick it out, put a new one in. Now I'm going to switch over to gas grenade. Push the button. I can go back and forth in between shots. So gas grenade lobs these gas canisters that does damage. It will kill you if you go in there, but it won't kill your teammates. And then if I switch over in mid, I'm back to explosive grenades. Real simple. Now, the one thing I really like about the grenade launcher is if you've ever played pool, you can bounce them off the walls and unexpected spots. So if somebody's hiding around a corner, you can just shoot it, bounce it, and get them that way. I really like that. Now, we're gonna get into the sniper rifle. Now, the sniper rifle has a little tiny sight that if you look down at it, you can use that, and therefore it helps with your accuracy. Now, 5 shots, that's all you get. I wish there could be more, but it's a sniper rifle. That's the specialty about it. It's very powerful. Headshots, about 200. Okay, now if you push the B button, okay, now you see a kind of a cut up bullet again. Well, it only does 100, but you can do it very fast. So you're changing off power for speed. Now, let's get into rocket launcher. Okay, now, on the other weapons, you could also use them two-handed, which helps with, it makes it more accurate. But with this, it changes the speed. So if you can look right here, right now it says slow, explosive, 2 hands, fast, explosive. So slow, one-handed, it goes down there, takes a while. Put another one in, this time holding onto it, a lot faster. Now, so again, they're right on your hip. So you just place it in. Again, you don't have to let go of it, just pass it through where it needs to be. The B button, change it from explosive slow to EMP, electronic magnetic pulse. So that basically it's an energy blast. Okay. Now what this does, you saw that blue light? That's like an electrical field going out. It will erase whatever energy they have in their jetpack, brings it down to 0. So if they're flying above you, you hit them, then they're going to fall. It also takes off some shields. So if you come across somebody that has a lot of shields, a couple shots with this eliminates them. You have your choice of explosive or EMP, slow or fast. That's that one. Okay, now let's get into dual Uzis. Okay, those are pretty quick and simple. You simply point them and shoot. Or, now, what I just did is I reloaded. That's the really nice thing about certain handguns. Now watch the zeros. I tip it down, bring it back up, it's full. So, bang, 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 bang. Now, you can do one at a time, down and back up, or what I like to do is tip it down that way. So it's just a flick of the wrist. Now, there is no B function at this time. There might be later on, but there isn't. They're just very, very powerful and very quick. Okay, let me see which one we haven't touched on, and that would be the riot shield. Okay, now this one is kind of interesting because right here, there will be a white line that goes across it. I can't do that right now because to charge it, it has to take damage. But what you have is a wall or spikes. Wall, spikes. And then I did that by hitting the B button. Okay? Now, you don't have to activate the shield. When you activate it, you pull on the trigger, There's a white bar goes across there, and that's the energy for spikes or wall. The difference between the two is wall, it increases the size of the shield, it makes it really big. Spikes, well, it just spikes pop out of the shield, okay? And that does a lot of damage. The shield by itself does damage, but the spikes does even more. Okay, let's go over to, katana. Now, since I'm right-handed, it's on my left side, so I can reach across, grab it, pull it out. This also has two functions. We have Spirit and Slash. Slash does more damage. Spirit actually can heal you. But you need to fill up that little section there. There'll be a white bar that goes across. And to activate that, you just pull the trigger. That activates the weapon. Now, two hands, more damage. One hand, that still does a lot of damage, but not as much. It's pretty nice because it also helps you run a little bit faster. And the way to fill this up is by killing people. So you take their energy, put it in your sword, and then you could use it to do more damage or heal yourself. Your choice, your style. Okay, bow. Okay, a lot of people like this or they hate it, one of the two. There's how many arrows you have. Now with all these weapons, you have a bunch of magazines, or in this case arrows. When you're in combat, in other words, non-hub activity, okay, that's going to limit you. And you can run out of ammunition. Bows run out of arrows, guns run out of bullets. So that's why you want to be able to switch things around. But for the bow, there's no arrow. You use the grab, just grab the string, a bow and an arrow in your hand. Boom. Just grab. There you go. Real simple. Now this one doesn't really have a B function yet either. Now they may incorporate it, but at this time they don't. Let's go down to dual pistols. Dual pistols, okay, they're not like the dual Uzis. These are kind of a single shot device. But the nice thing about that is the B function. See, there's a single dot, triple dot. So in other words, you're firing 3 bullets at one time. A lot of people refer to this as a shotgun blast. So when both of them are activated, and matter of fact, all you have to do is hit the one button and they both activate at the same time. A lot of damage real fast, but when you're firing 3 at a time, well, you only have 21, so that's 7 shots. But 7 shots of power. Okay, let me see which one we haven't done yet. Fusion rifle. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now this one, when you squeeze the trigger, you get this ball of energy up here. And in settings, where I talked about in the first video, you can actually change that color. But the longer you hold it, it gets big. And then you just aim and... So as you can see, I fired twice, took 2 shots. It doesn't matter whether a quick little... A shot is a shot, whether it's a powerful one or a weak one. So now there's something about this and the minigun I'll show you in a moment. It's when you run out. With this one, if you kill people, that actually can give you a little bit more ammunition, but that's not the secret. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Shotgun. Okay, when we were talking about the settings, there was that trigger lock. Well, that's when you have to use either just the grab or the trigger and grab at the same time to pull it back. It's a pump action shotgun. Right here, you start off with 4 shots, 24. In other words, there's 24 in the gun, and you can fire 4 times before you have to reload. So this is, again, you can use it two-handed for more accuracy, more power, or it spreads out. So it's your choice. And then once you go down to 0, grab, pump. Now, if you were in a game, that 24 would drop down to a 20, and you would just get lower and lower, and eventually you'd be out of bullets. But watch this. Hit the B button. Now it's a solid shell, which means 1 shot. Okay? So you're shooting all 4 shells at one time for a very, very powerful shot. And then you can switch it back and forth. Pump, and then you're back up again. So that's the dual function of the shotgun. Okay, let me see what we have here. Oh, gauntlets. Okay, in all honesty, I'm not that good with these, okay? So what I would like you to do, if you find somebody that's good with the gauntlets, ask them how they work. Because with the gauntlets, if you hit the trigger, you got fists for clobbering, for punching, and they do a lot of damage. Hit the B button, that shrinks them down. Now they're independent, so one could be big, one could be small. But one of the tricks with the gauntlets, now I only have 1 charge on here right now, so we'll see what happens. It can help you fly, or it gives you a jet of energy. And I was told by a lot of people that know how to use these, it's like grabbing the air and you throw it to the ground and you fly up. Okay? I've seen people shoot across the map with that. But when you do, it uses up your charges right there. So they're very powerful. You can still punch people either way. So that's kind of your choice, large gauntlets or small gauntlets. Now, minigun. Okay, here's something that's really interesting. This has to rev up before it actually starts to fire. So using it one-handed or two-handed. Here's one-handed. As you can see, it took a while for it to rev up. Two-handed, it's more accurate, and it's faster. Okay, but here we have a split bullet, which meant, well, a lot of bullets, but hit the B button, solid. Here's what the solid ones do. You're shooting explosive rounds, which does a lot of damage. Or you can then switch back, and there you go. Okay, now I'm out of ammunition, just like with the fusion rifle. Here's the trick. Neither one can be reloaded technically, okay? So there's nothing to grab, nothing to put in here. So what you do is you just get rid of it. You pull up a weapon, doesn't matter which one. You don't even have to fire it. Just call it up and then immediately go back to the minigun and it's full again. So that's how you can use the minigun over and over and over again, is when it's empty, call up a new weapon, then jump right back to the minigun and you're good to go. Okay, now, so we've done pretty much all of these. Sidearms, okay, crossbow and revolver. Okay, let's do the revolver. Let's get rid of that. Let's get the katana there. Okay, revolver. It's on your side. If you're right-handed, that's part of your right hand, left-handed in the settings. It's on the right-hand side. I'm right-handed. It's a simple 6-shooter. Okay, dip it down again. Again, think about when you're using the handguns. You dip it down like there's water in the barrel. You just and it reloads. Now, this has a solid bullet, if you see that. So it's standard shots. Hit the B button, it gets a hollow, which has a lot slower fire rate, but it's a lot more powerful. So like the sniper rifle, you're trading speed for power. So your choice on how you want to use this. Now, crossbow. Okay, again, it's a sidearm weapon. Fire it. As you can see, it's still doing damage. Okay, it fires pretty much poison bolts. And it has quite a range. I'm not as good as some people. You're not even near them, and it's still doing damage. So they can run around the corner, and they're still getting hurt by what you did. And to reload it, you just dip it down. That's it. That's how you reload this one. And again, there's really no B function at this time. But you never know what they're going to do to change this. Okay, now, we talked about all our weapons except for one. That's the knife. Now, to get a knife, all you have to do is, it could be either hand, your choice, but you can only have one knife at a time, is you squeeze both the triggers on one hand. So you squeeze the trigger and the grab at the same time. Boom, you got a knife. Now, there is no secondary function for a knife. A knife is a knife is a knife. But you can use it for stabbing, for thrusting, or you can throw it. And that takes practice. And the nice thing about the knife and the katana, they help you run a little bit faster. And I'm going to be doing a video that talks about comparing running with the knife and running with the katana versus just standard running. So, let's see. We went over our sidearms, all the weapons here. Okay, it's time to leave. Now, I could either go through the exit, or I can hit the menu button. Pops up our nice little menu here. Back to hub. Anytime you're in a place that's not the hub, or a hub, I should say, this menu. So if you're in the middle of a game and you go, you know, I'm tired of this game, or I want to do something different, click back to hub. Okay, and we're back at the hub. Well, now it's not the hub that you left. Well, it might be. It could very easily be. But it's the same style. So if you last were Nexus, it's going to take you to a Nexus hub. If you're in one of the other hubs, you're going to pop back to that style of hub. So it could be the same one, might be different. So anyway, that pretty much wraps up our weapons. Now there's different styles for the weapons. Some people have certain tricks, and I'll be showing you some of those later on. But the purpose was just to give you an idea of what weapons you have. So again, all you have to do is push the A button. There's your weapons wheel. If I hit the X button, same thing. It's just depending again, right-handed, left-hand, personal choice. A lot of this game is up to you. What's your style? What's your favorite weapon? So, time to check things out. Anyway, I'll see everybody later. This has been really fun, and I hope to help a few of you figure out what you would like to play with, and do check out the shooting range. Bye. Thanks for watching. I have more videos planned, so be sure to click the subscribe and like buttons. That way you don't miss out, and it also helps grow this channel so others might find it. If you know of anybody that might benefit from these videos, just tell them about this channel. Tobias talks about stuff. Until next time, bye.